I am so thrilled to be here, everybody.
I want to spotlight you too.
Yes, let's.
Always good with the art.
Let's go ahead. I'm just gonna change.
The word's yours.
Pronouns here. Okay. Welcome. This is the last group, and today we're going to be focusing on something that Melissa and I have called now resilient rocks, and it does relate to decision making. I'm going to explain the whole process slowly but surely. If you don't have rocks, or if the rocks are messy, like dirty with the dirt on it, it's okay. You could always just like start sketching some ideas out, and then later on like complete it. And then you'll just like wash everything really well with like soap and water, and then just let it dry really, really well. Let the rock dry completely, so that when you add the markers, it doesn't like, ruin the marker or anything like that. So it's just a little tidbit there about the rocks. But here we are. No matter how many times I do this, it's like slideshow. Okay, there it is from the beginning. All right, and again, I'm Deborah King, art therapist and studio art manager at JFCS. Community guidelines very quickly: be ready, be kind, create a safe space, be present, enjoy yourself. And I've reviewed this several times now during our weeks. But main thing is try your best to, since we're on Zoom, to switch on the camera if you're able to, keeping yourself muted, unmuting when it's possible, always checking in with yourself when you do speak up, always check in to say like, hey, if I was going to say that right now about myself, would I want to say that about that other person, especially when it comes to art making. So if you guys today share art, it's important to be very kind and polite in that sense, and try your best to, be in a private space and, keeping all distractions away if possible. Purpose of making art: to learn new skills, get creative, problem solve, help communicate your thoughts and ideas with others. And also it's definitely a coping skill. Art making could be related to mindfulness, anxiety reducing, and all sorts of things, expressing emotion. Lesson 5, resilience / decision making. Here we go. We already reviewed the art supplies: pen, pencils, and paper to sketch things out, and then acrylic pens and rocks, preferably rocks that have a flat surface. I know that Melissa was so awesome and gave you guys rocks that are more, landscaping rocks that are smooth. But if you ever wanted to look at like river rocks, just like on a walk or something like that, try to scout out the ones that are smooth, at least on one side. This was from last week. Unfortunately, I did not delete that. Oh boy, I'm having there it is. Okay, I see what I did. What is resilience? According to the dictionary, the Oxford Dictionary, there are 2 definitions of resilience, and I thought it was wonderful. The first one was the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties / toughness. Okay, so we're talking about rocks. So the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties, toughness. And then the other one was the ability of a substance or object to spring back into shape. And the word related to this was elasticity, like elastic, like bendy. So isn't that interesting that this very, very quick, definition from a dictionary said it's regarding toughness and flexibility. Elasticity is basically being flexible, bendy. So it's like, hey, you could be tough and flexible at the same time. You could kind of like roll with it. That's what I really took away from it. And then obviously as well, it's, to overcome a hard time, a hardship, difficulty, as well as sometimes it's like you even rise above, even like during a hard time, you don't just go back to square one, you like actually overpass it to the point of like, wow, I went through something so hard that now I'm no longer the same. I'm actually, stronger, tougher, wiser. I've learned from all this. So pretty interesting, pretty interesting. So we're going to be using the metaphor of rocks. So today we're going to be painting resilient rocks. And I'm not a scientist, but I love the idea of thinking about sand, petals, rocks, and boulders to describe problems or hardships. So I'm just going to ask the group if you guys are comfortable. What do you think one of these mean in relation to hardships or like hard times or difficulties? Let's just kind of think outside the box. What do you think a boulder would mean in related to a problem, or a petal, a little tiny petal? So you see, like, so this is the sand, this one that I'm pointing to, little tiny grains of sand. And then these are petals. These are rocks, like more like very, bigger, maybe like bigger than your hand, or maybe even bigger than your, maybe a face, like, like a pretty big rock. And then boulders is like parts of like of a mountain, like full of huge rocks. Let's see. The harder, Caitlin said, the harder and bigger it is, the harder the problem. Yes, I agree. I think that is definitely something. So I heard a little bit of Galia's presentation, and sometimes decisions could be really hard, not just, random other things and challenges. But when it comes to decisions, there are big kind of problems or like harder ways to decide on something, right? And then there's little things like she was saying, how about, just eating, choosing a dinner, right? So that might be more like of a pebble, right? like, like baby, or it could even be a little sand of grain. And, let's if you guys could just brainstorm for a minute about your own life and your own selves. What are the grains of sands? What are the pebbles? What are the rocks and boulders in your life? And you could just journal for a second. And I'll be here to support you all. So it's up to you to share or just to identify it. You could even sketch it out, create a little like river scene if you wanted to, like, I have a lot of pebbles right now, a lot of little problems, a lot of little decisions to make. Maybe like who I need to call back or who I need to talk to today, or what are the little, tasks that I need to complete today. Even doing like finishing the art project, like, are these little pebbles? Are they a little bit bigger? Maybe there's like some conflicts with somebody at home, or, feelings were hurt. Like, so then this would be like a bigger problem here, the one right here. And then the big boulders are maybe like the big deal kind of decisions that we need to make, or like getting more anxious about school starting, or applying for colleges or jobs, or even, even bigger boulders that could relate to like a huge grief or trauma that you've experienced. I think collectively we've all experienced, the pandemic, so that could be a boulder. So let's, just continue to just write it down, sketch it out. And then now now that I went through the pebbles, the rocks, and the boulders, and sand is basically, grains of sand are basically rocks that have really like, you know, a lot of times we associate sand with the ocean, and basically the rocks just keep on flowing in and flowing out to the point where they just become little tiny grains of sand. So it's like a way to like break down. What I think when I think of sand is like breaking down a huge problem. It's like if you're able to be really resilient, climb through that rock or that boulder, or also just like break that problem apart where it no longer exists anymore. It's sort of like could transform in and out. Okay. So let's, you could always journal more about this. And now I'm gonna go ahead and ask you the next question. So when you are going through a struggle or a major decision, what kind of resilience rock or message would you want to find? So imagine you're going for a walk and you see some pebbles on the ground, and you look and you would find a little rock that just, it was just the message that you needed to help you, you know, get where you're going. I'm just going to stop for a minute to share. And what I mean by that, I'm going to show you examples now of the rocks that I've been creating with different groups along the years. Sometimes we call them kindness rocks, resilient rocks. There's many ways to think of it. But here you will see, I wonder, is this backwards, Melissa, or are you seeing it correctly?
That looks great.
Okay, great. So I have different examples here, and I'll show you like how to create the designs in a minute. But imagine like if you're feeling like, you know, I'm like really grumpy today. Imagine finding that message in, you know, just all these regular, you know, rocks without any colors or without any words on it. You know, well, this has that hashtag here, but imagine just looking over and saying, oh, wow, this is what I need. I need kindness today. Or, you know, there's other things like this rock, somebody made this one. It just says, be you. Maybe you're struggling with, you know, who am I? Who am I? What am I doing? What am I all about? We have this one here, like brave. Stay motivated through hard times or decision making. Or if something doesn't go wrong, you really wanted, you know, to get into this or that class or school, you didn't make it. You know, you need to be brave. You need to keep going, motivate yourself. Another message could be positive. I'll just kind of share each of them. Strong, laugh, loyalty. We have love. Oh, another little rock that says love. Nice. Just be you. And the first one we started with, kind. Okay, so these are kind of literally kind of examples of rocks. So thinking back as to when you're going through a hard time, what is it that you need to motivate you, to keep you resilient and strong? Oh, sorry, my video went off. So here we go. So now let's go back to the slideshow. And this is the fun part. We're going to give you lots of time today to talk this out and draw, okay? So here we go, designing a resilient rock. I have here an example of just like a usual shape, oval shape of a rock. And as you see here from the other examples that I showed you, you could just create another oval to like outline like two different circles to outline the rock. So this is step one right here. This is another example. And you see like each of them has like a middle section to write your message. This is another one just kind of like squaring away at the rock shape, and then your message would go in the middle. This is another one, a circle with a bunch of lines, sort of like a sun radiating out, or any kind of shape could go in here, a heart, any other thing, a star. This one was just like wavy lines. And again, like in the middle here, you could also write some words. This is a different example with a triangle. So then each section could be, colored differently. The message could go in the middle. And then we just have zigzags as opposed to, those wavy lines. Now, from the examples, I also added all these different patterns. So not only are you going to add words to it, but you could add like this is an example here. I added little dots to this. So I used this example right here. We have multiple lines of waves, zigzags, little loops, little dashes, other types of loops right here. It could also be like little peace signs or swirls, that, the hearts, stars, patterns, anything under the sun to like decorate all around if you'd like. And then the grand finale, I focus on just one word because it is hard to add lots of words in one rock, because given that the rock is pretty small, most rocks that we're working with, but you can go outside the box and add a whole message or a quote or something personalized to yourself and your journey. But here are some examples of like just calligraphy or like writing, fancy writing. Here's your regular, writing here, love. All capital letters. This one is like a capital letter and like little tiny words. This one is more, the word brave here was created more in a zigzag look. This one is the word peace here. I made it more like elongated the way that I drew it. Cursive writing with the word faith. Caring, which is like small little letters. And then some other ideas here is kind with the bubble letters. Thankful, I did this one also to look more like cursive. Some of you might be way better than I am. I always love to do letters and then put little dots on the end of each thing. I don't know if you've seen that before, but it's like a fun little way to simply decorate something. Here we have a stylized kind of font with like lots of swirls. You might not be able to see it very well, but like the G has a swirl, the O, the end of the G as well, the S. It's just a fun little way to draw it. Confident, I did like funky letters, like some are capitalized, some are not. There's no right or wrong, however you want to do it. And this one, BU, the way that I created this was just to do a double, the first letter of each word here is a capital letter and with bubble letters. The other ones are just regular. So many different options to choose from. Okay, so that is my presentation for today. I think it goes really nicely with what Galia shared about decision making and all that process. So now, like for those of you that are more in the, a lot of people, they learn from doing visualizations, visual learners. So this is another way to kind of apply all that in your own life. So I'm curious to hear, we have lots of time and I want to hear from you guys about the brainstorming or the writing that you did so far, or the drawing. Anybody want to share? Or any questions? It looks like people are drawing and enjoying it already. Okay. Would you like me to keep the example of the kindness rocks up? Yeah, like the Caitlin, did you mean like the examples, the real ones like this?
The examples that you just shown with like the different designs and
Okay.
ways to write certain words.
So the one from the slideshow?
Yeah.
Awesome. So I will go ahead and do that. And I'm also going to try to listen to some music at the same time.
I have a song.
Oh, you have a song?
Yeah, I was
Awesome.
looking while
Okay.
you were talking.
Oh, sweet. That's great. I had a backup relaxing music, but go for it.
A song about never giving up. So hopefully it won't be too distracting.
I love that. Is that the one like I'm never gonna I'm not gonna sing.
Oh, it's called Never Giving Up. I don't know if it's the same one, but I have to take. I'll go ahead and let you share that for a second before I play the music. We can't share at the same time.
Oh, I think you might be able to click on share screen and then click on.
No, it says if I did, it says if I share, it will stop the other screen sharing. Do you want to continue?
Oh, it doesn't even say like share audio only.
No, it won't let me go even to the share screen.
Oh, I see. I see. Okay, so everybody could take a look.
You can take a screenshot if you want to take a screenshot of.
Oh, I have an idea. Do you want to give me the link to the song?
Right. I don't know. Will it let you share it too? You can try it.
Because then I think I could put the audio in my phone and I'm sorry, in the computer and play it at the same time.
Okay, let me see if we can try it.
Sounds good.
There you go.
Okay.
Wait, before you scroll away,
Oh,
you need to hear
sorry,
this.
just a minute. Okay.
Republicans across the country are moving fast.
So you just want to share your audio, or you want to do the whole thing?
Did I do the audio yet? Okay, here. Okay.
I'll do the advanced.
Did you guys hear it?
We're sharing the video too, but it's okay.
But can you hear it?
Yes, we can hear it.
Oh, okay. Then I'll
who I'm meant to be. I won't let fear keep me from trying. It's time for me to make a change, to start living the life I want. I'm gonna reach for the sky, way up high. I'm never giving up. It's up to me to see who I can be, make dreams reality. I'm never giving up. I'm never giving up. I'm never giving up. I'm never giving up. I won't live the life others expect of me. I want to be proud of who I'm becoming. It's time for me to make a change, start living the life I want. I'm gonna reach for the sky, way up high. I'm never giving up. It's up to me to see who I can be, make dreams reality. I'm never giving up. never giving up. It's up to me to see who I can be, make dreams reality. I'm gonna reach for the sky, way up high. I'm never giving up. It's up to me to see who I can be, make dreams reality. I'm never giving up. 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 It's time for me to make a change, start living the life I want. I'm gonna reach for the sky, way up high. I'm never giving up. It's up to me to see who I can be, make dreams reality. I'm never giving up. I'm never giving up. I'm never giving up.
Okay, it looks like there's another song. Let's go ahead and put this one on.
Ready to start eating healthier?
And I just want to share that I love what people are writing on the chat. And on another note, as I'm thinking about these resilient rocks, like if you end up making multiple ones, how incredible is it that this will tie together the idea of community as well? This is like, you know, so another thing that we talked about is like, what's our place in the community? How can we better our communities? And, you know, even solve problems, like become passionate about that together. And if somebody, you never know, if somebody sees a message like this when they're going through a hard time on their journey, it could really make their day. You know, a complete stranger might find the rock that you made. There's even sometimes I've seen kindness rocks, little libraries in different places where it's like you take a rock, put a rock, take what you need kind of thing. We're calling it resilient rocks, but some people, like I said, call it kindness rocks. But this also fits nicely to other themes that we've been doing all along. So I just think it's a really cool thing. All right, let's go ahead and play this song. It's called "This Song Will Help You Set Free." We're just really relaxing today. I think other times we haven't had too much time to draw. So I want you guys to really get into it.
When you try your best but you don't succeed, when you get what you want but know what you need, when you feel so tired but you can't sleep, stuck in reverse, and the tears come streaming down your face. When you lose something you can't replace, when you love someone but it goes to waste, could it be worse? Light will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you. go down below when you're too in love to let it go. But if you never try, you'll never know just what you worth. Light will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you. Tears stream down your face when you lose something you cannot replace. Tears stream down your face, and tears stream down your face. I promise you I will learn from my mistakes. Tears stream down your face, and lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you.
All right, everybody, it is 12:20. So I will go ahead and stop my share for a moment. Just to overview, while if you could jot these questions down and journal more about them if you didn't have a chance to before, I will go ahead and go to the next slide. We'll go to the one right before this. So as I explained in the beginning, we reviewed what is resilience, toughness, and flexibility. Also overcoming, getting to a new place in your life after you have gone through some hard times or some disappointment, that sort of thing. And we used the example of this metaphor of resilience to identify what are some things we've overcome that are no longer a big problem in our lives. That would be the sand. Pebbles would be like small little problems, usually everyday kind of little things. Rocks are more, bigger problems that we need to face, bigger decisions we need to face. That also varies depending on the person. And then boulders are usually, bigger, more permanent problems, or not so much permanent, more unexpected, more related to grief and loss. That, a bigger problem that requires a lot of adaptation and time and patience to work on. I just wanted to show you again the rocks, because also sometimes we may be overwhelmed and we think that we're dealing with a big problem. Our mind tricks us. We think, my assignment, I'm going to use school because I think that's an easy one to understand. My assignment is due. I haven't done anything. This is a huge problem. And our mind goes, it starts to fire. Like our mind just goes and goes like, okay, I'm not going to get the assignment right. I'm going to get an F. I'm going to not get accepted to college. I'm never going to get anywhere in my life. And we think it's this big problem, but really sometimes it's also identifying how can we really tone that down and bring it back to a more realistic thing and say, maybe I'm in this zone where it is a rock. I really didn't get my assignment done this week. I had all these other little things that I had to do. I wasn't too motivated, and now it's due next week, and now it is kind of a big problem. How can I focus, make that a little smaller, and then even smaller? So use this visual when you're dealing with problems or life decisions, everyday life decisions or big type of decisions. How can I kind of evaluate and figure out which is a small kind of problem that maybe I'm thinking it's much bigger than what it is. So that's definitely a big takeaway for each of you. Then we also went over when you're struggling, when you're going through something, what kind of resilience rock or message would you want to find? And that's really the activity that we're doing is what is it that you need? If you were going for a walk and you found a rock, what is it that you would like to see? What would give you that extra push? That little bit of reminder to move forward. All right, without further ado, I would love to hear from you all, or some of you, whoever feels safe to share about what they're including in the rocks.
I could share first.
Sure.
So my rock is kind of because like I put on my rock in the middle of every difficulty lies opportunity. I put that on my rock because lately I've been going through a lot of stuff, like a lot, but it's still been so much good that's came out of it.
Wow. That's so important. Did you come up with this on your own in the middle of a difficulty lies opportunity?
It was kind of like I was trying to think of something that had to do with overcoming an obstacle, and it just came.
Yeah, it's like sometimes you might not might not think I'm gonna be able to get this or that, or I'm going through a really hard time. But if we switch it to like, well, this is actually a gate of opportunity. That's when that creativity comes in and the problem solving. Like, how can I push past this? How can I see, okay, this is a really big challenge, but you're not going to end up back where you started. If you're going through something right now, you're going to always end up at a more like a different level as a person, wiser, stronger. It's amazing. But when you're in the middle of it, it's really hard. It's really hard to see it. So your statement is amazing to like keep your eye on that goal. Really awesome job.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Adriana. Anyone else want to share? Let me go back to the main screen here. Oh, I see. I think Alicia, are you sharing? I'm not sure if you're talking with someone else or speaking with us.
I can share.
Sure. Is that Kayla?
Yes. On my rock, I'm writing, on my rock, I'm gonna write, what did I say? Those who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones that do. And I'm gonna have it like be this red to yellow ombre color.
Wow, that's amazing. I love that quote. I love that you both people so far were able to fit a lot of words. That's like a super meaningful statement for yourself. It's like, yeah, you might think that I'm crazy, that, I'm not going to get this, but guess what? Like, it's sort of that attitude, like, I'm going to prove you wrong. Because usually people that have these big ideas, those are the people that are going to get through it. You need to get that motivation to get you going, that rhythm, like, I'm going to get it. You watch and see. So I love that. And again, reflect on your resilient rock when, you know, keep it around you. You could also give it and put it in different places in the community. But another thing you could do is just keep it for yourself, keep it on your desk or like a place that you always take a look at. So when you do happen to have that day where you're like, I don't know if I'm gonna get through this. I'm getting disappointed with this process. You know, I keep getting no's, or I keep, you know, being not sure what I'm doing. It's like seeing that might really, really be helpful. So awesome, awesome job. I think we have looks like somebody might have unmuted. If you want to share, that would be great. Hanaja, I believe I'm saying it right. Yes, and I love that you add the name there. How do you pronounce it? Hanaja. You said, one of my quotes is, dreams without goals are just dreams. Yeah, that's also powerful because, and I know, like, I connect with that because I know, like, I could tap into that, like, being younger or even now, just like thinking about an idea, like a dream, like, oh, I wish I had this, or I wish I could do this or that. But then you're absolutely right. You can't just dream. You have to then set up the steps and your plan, your goals. So that is a really good one. It's almost like a reality check for yourself, like looking at the rock, the resilient rock, like, hey, you know, check in with yourself. Am I just getting too over the top with my ideas about the future? How can I like make this, you know, ground myself, bring it more to present day and like specific goals to make it a more realistic kind of dream. And we went over this decision making last week too, kind of a little bit with the grow, the grow model, GROW. So definitely take a look at that slideshow again if you'd like to review it. Awesome. I was just going to write this in the chat because some people might be, you know, speaking with other people or, you know, somewhat, you know, trying to focus on Zoom and multitasking. So I'm just gonna review this in the chat as well. If you'd like to, if you didn't get an opportunity to see what I said earlier, you could also read it right now about resilience. All right, everybody. I think, Melissa, I think our time is up. I love that people are participating. I'm not sure if anyone else wants to share. We could possibly hear from someone else. I wasn't sure if AC was raising their hand.
Did you have something to share, AC?
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
All right, Melissa, anything else you want to?
No, this was great. I just want people to know that feel free to go out and on your walks and things, you can take, you know, pick up rocks yourself as you go. It doesn't have to be these particular, these are nice river rocks, smooth rocks, but you can paint on any rock, you know, or brick, or, you know, be creative, and with your sources, you can find things, other things to paint on. I just say, you know, be safe, clean it, and then use your paint. Particularly your acrylic pens work really, really well. But you can also buy acrylic paint in like Walmart or Michael's or something, and they're usually pretty cheap around this time. You can get some for like 50 cents or $1 for like a little tube of acrylic paint. So if you run out of painting your acrylic pens, just feel free to pick up some acrylic paint so you can keep on painting. This has been great. Mod Podge can be used to gloss it, yes. So if you go into Dollar Tree, sells Mod Podge for $1, little bottle, but you can also get
Yes. Yeah, if you do put them out in the community, I mean, it's okay. It's fine if it eventually fades away. Or if you put it like in your garden or a porch or something like that, it with the rain and all that, it will fade away eventually. So Mod Podge, if you wanted to, you could, just cover it. But if
Yeah, you
not,
get packs. Yeah. Yeah, the Mod Podge is good. You can also spray it with like the spray paint, the clear spray paint.
clear gloss. Yeah.
Mhm. So any of those things can help it to last longer. Well, thank you, Deb. I appreciate
Yes,
you,
thank you
as
so much.
usual.